This is Dr. Lior Bar-El here with a product review. Today we're going to go over the, this is a very exciting open box for me, obviously. I meant unboxing. The Nikon D5300. Now I'm going to tell you, I'm an owner of the D5100 and owner of Canon Mark III. I am going to say this, the reason I got this is because I always loved Nikon cameras for pictures, and believe it or not, the videos look absolutely stunning. I really loved it on the 5100. The only thing I was turned off about the 5100 that the Canon had was the fact that it didn't shoot 60 frames a second. Now, this thing shoots, 60 frames a second, if I didn't say that first time. So this thing right here shoots it at full HD, okay? Not 720 crap, but full HD at 60 frames a second. Now, I'm going to compare this to the Canon I have, and I'm going to make also couple recommendations after what I suggest you guys do, but for people on a budget, I'm waiting on my Blackmagic 4K camera, so I'm waiting on my 4K camera. Very soon I'm getting it, and all of that good stuff. So that's a professional camcorder. This one does video. Like I said, I do not recommend people filming on, professionally. I mean, for weddings and stuff, it doesn't matter. But professionally, like for full features, if you want to be recognized, you want to have a good name and all that good stuff, you do not want to shoot on a DSLR. But for shorts and stuff like that, for Kickstarters, for YouTube, for, your YouTube channel, or even to make a movie for YouTube, or even, DVDs and stuff. I mean, I've seen a lot that were shot on DSLRs, and they're sitting, they're being sold, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, if you're on a budget, this is the best thing to do. I got this whole kit right here with this case right here. I mean, it's a bag, whatever. I'm going to take a look at that afterwards, but, I mean, we're not going to be really talking about these right here. This is the cleaning kit. I mean, that's a charger there. This is for the memory cards. This right here is a 16 gig, which you're gonna want at least 64, and of course this, the adapter. And I got all of this for like 700 bucks, and that's including the camera here. So now let's do an open box. All right, so it's kind of hard here doing it with one hand. All right, so so let's open up this little thing. So we got this right here, right? The manual and a bunch of other crap. The Nikon reference manual. If you hadn't had enough of the nonsense that you read here, you could always get it digitally. And of course, this is their software. I kind of like it. Obviously I have Adobe Photoshop. I don't need it, but for those of you that want something that you don't have to pay so much money for, but I do recommend, if you're a professional photographer, to have Photoshop anyway, or for movies and stuff like that, to get a proper editing system and so on and so forth. Okay, so comes with this right here. Now remember, with the 5100, what happened was I had it with the lens kit, so I really don't want the lenses. The lenses, I rather have primes and cinema lenses on my gear. But even prime lenses for photography and stuff, I really don't like that it's stuck, that they're not really fast lenses. All the lenses are stuck at, whatever, so at 3.5 or whatever. This right here is the strap on it. This right here, the wires, typical crap you get in your Canon. Your Canon and Nikon stuff. This right here, let's see, I know I gotta have it. Okay, so it uses the same charger, I believe. I don't know if this is the same, although I was told it was, as the charger from the 5100. So you could still use the batteries. Now, I have no idea if I can use my adapter, the one that lets me use generic batteries. But if I could, that would be really neat. I'm gonna take a look at that a little bit later. This right here, the cap, whatever. Okay, so we have all this nonsense here. So we got rid of that. Okay, let me just put everything back here. Okay, let me just take it out of the way here. All right, and now, the camera. So here we go. Okay, so, let me get this sucker out. All right. Okay, here we go. All right, let me get the box out of here because we don't need it anymore. All right. So, Okay, so right away I could tell already this is smaller than, you know, than the other camera, than the 5100. Definitely smaller than the 5200. Not that much smaller, just, you know, it is smaller. Okay, so let's see what I like and what I don't like. All right, so right off the bat, this is a bigger screen. You could tell right away. I love the fact that it has a flip screen. It's really, really cool. I like that, especially when you're videoing. It's not a touch screen though, but you see it is a flip screen and it could, you know, whatever. I'm just gonna close it. It's kind of stiff right now because it's freezing cold outside and this thing was outside in the cold waiting for me. I do like the fact that it has this right here. I mean, the other one on the 5100 looked a little different. This one kind of sticks out. It does have some kind of metallic thing to it around here. You see as it shines, which is pretty cool. I saw something different here. So it's a bigger screen now. You don't, for the Wi-Fi, you don't need any more of that stupid dongle or whatever the hell it's called. You don't need that. You have it right here already on board, which is cool. It also has a GPS system. You see here, the mic is right here, which is pretty awesome. I mean, I would never use onboard anyway. I have my own crapperoo for that. Right here, you see there have more buttons over here, which before it was only the function button right here. Let me just get this out here. Okay. Yeah. Alrighty. Okay, so the thing is, it got, okay, a mic in, which is awesome. It got a USB HDMI port, which is pretty freaking cool, and an AV out. So I mean, this is pretty cool. Now I'm gonna tell you, I'm also gonna compare it to the Canon, so I'm gonna let you guys know what I think about it and all that good stuff. Now, camera-wise, this thing is freaking amazing. I mean, I'd rather go with for pictures like professionally, you know, professional pictures. I do most of my movie pictures and stuff like that. All my, you know, my billboards and stuff like that. I do it with cameras like this, you know, with a crop sensor. Full sensors, I would use definitely if you're into a lot of pro work and stuff like that. Now, for video people, okay, for video, I do not like full frame sensors. I like 35mm sensors because I'm an old school guy who likes to film with film. And, you know, I just think the depth of field, back in the day, a lot of people did you know, they wanted to have the shallowest depth of field, and it was like a competition, sort of like the Pixel Wars. Where are you going to get the most buttery, cute, perfect depth of field and the most depth of field? And that's what it was going on. When you shoot with a full-frame sensor, you're dealing with a lot of moire issues, aliasing, rolling shutters, and all that stuff. Now, another bad part about a full-frame sensor is the background is just too blurry. I mean, sure, you could control it, but it's just too damn blurry. And if you look at every movie in Hollywood, none of them do that, and there's a reason for that. Because you still want to give, you know, okay, you want to pull out the subject and all that, but you also want to give off a little bit of the background. Otherwise, it looks like you shot it on a green screen. It looks very unnatural. Now, for real close-up pics, like of the eyes or of whatever, that would be all right. But, you know, I'm seeing this a lot in independent directors who are independent filmmakers who are doing this with a DSLR. The first #1 thing you should always know is do not shoot wide open. It's not an attractive image, and people will tell you this. I'm a DP myself. I do not like that, and there's a lot of people that I went to school with, and they will tell you exactly the same thing. The teachers will tell you the same thing, but still, when they go out and about, they do it their own way, and that's okay. That's an artistic thing, and, you know, whatever that, you know, paint the picture however you want. I'm just giving you my recommendation. That's why I usually like to film with full frame sensors, only because I feel like, for instance, this thing right here, what I like about it is it does not, it really deals with moire way better than the Canon. It deals with aliasing way better than the Canon. And the rolling shutter is, I mean, it's a CMOS chip, so it's pretty much the same. But when I was shaking them together before on my D5100, I have no idea how this is, but I'm sure, you know, I'll do that later on in test. The D5100, actually, when you were going from left to right and panning really quick, did a better job than the Canon, believe it or not. But again, the thing with Canon is you got your, what was it called? Magic Lantern hack, which I wish they came out with this, but I mean, you know, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? But this thing has, you know, meters. This thing has a bunch of stuff. But there they have the histogram and all that good stuff. And, you know, it's more detailed there because they tried to make a DSLR like a video camera, which is pretty awesome. I mean, it's awesome. I just wish they released something like that for the Nikon. I am getting way better pictures. Nikon is a better picture camera. You know, when you're filming, if this had Magic Lantern on it, okay, I would say trash your Canon. It's garbage. Because nothing beats a Nikkor lens. And of course you can adapt it to your Canon. I just like the picture I get from a Nikon. Now, people could disagree with me. I mean, that's all, you know, I'm not a fanboy. I love both cameras very dearly. I love Canon. I think what Canon is doing is, you know, they're listening to their customers, which I really, really like. Nikon is beginning to. They're finally putting, you know, video from their 5100 and, you know, and all of their other 7100, whatever it's called, and all their pro cameras. But at the same time, you know, they didn't have 60 frames. Now at full HD, you got on full HD, 60 frames, 60p progressive frames, right? So that is insane. That is a big step up. I really like this camera a lot. Now I'm going to give you my final review. We'll talk about this and all that good stuff. And also, I'm going to let you guys know, you know what, I'm going to actually check it out. I'll be back in about a second. I want to, because I got to charge this damn thing and see if this thing could take a hack or not. All right, well, I'll see you back in a few. Take care, guys. Bye. So as you see, guys, my grip, which came with 2 batteries for my other 5100, does work. So you can use generic brand batteries now on this thing, which is pretty freaking awesome. Now, remember, this is not touchscreen. Not that I care. I'm not a big touchscreen kind of guy. I don't like it. I think it causes more mistakes than it could do, you know, more harm than it does good. I don't know. Maybe some of you like that. It's not, you know, my Blackmagic's gonna have that. Kind of pissed about it, but you know, that's that. Now what I'm gonna try to do is I want to see if it natively supports it without the grip, if it supports the generic battery. So give me 1 second, please. Actually, let me show you also what grip I'm talking about here. Hold on. This is the grip I'm talking about, you see? So it gets a grip and boom. Now the screen is beautiful. I'm gonna need to get another, I believe, another one of these because this is too darn small. Not that I use this anymore, really. I don't really care for the viewfinder because I use, you know, a big screen pretty much to monitor. But like I said, you know, whatever. For weddings, I would use this. I'll talk more about that in the end. Anyways, I'll see you back in a sec. Guys, so like I suspected, naturally it does not use actually generic. You need to use the, you know, the grip with it in order to operate it. Of course, you need to have one over here. That's the real Nikon battery, whether it's drained or not. Just to trick it, it's like a hack. And then you would put here the generic brand, as you can see here. You see? So you do that, and then you turn this baby on, and it will work. You see? But, you know, with 2 generics, it's not going to work. You need to do 1 generic and 1 that. But remember, even if it's drained, it doesn't matter. You'll have the hours in that, and then you could put the other battery. You just have to keep refilling it on this side right here. Now, remember, if you take out the batteries, you know, it's the hack. Now, the other negative part is the charger does not charge, obviously. So, you know, just do that with the generic brand. And, you know, so, sorry, I didn't know if I said this before I got cut out. So you need this charger right here. You know, one of these cheap chargers. They're going to charge your generic batteries. And then you could, of course, fill it up. So that's the hack for that. I don't know why Nikon did not listen to their customers when they said they want to be able to use, you know, those generic batteries. But, you know, some companies do that for business reasons, obviously, and some do it because they don't trust other batteries. It might be bad for your camera and all of that good stuff. All right, anyway, so this thing shoots at 60 frames a second. Also, just to let you know, it has some cool features here, like for instance, the alignment. It has a big dot, you know, that, you know, not like the small one like on the 5100. The setup is a little bit different. Everything's pretty cool here. I mean, pretty straightforward. It's just like the other cameras, semi-pro cameras. I've done weddings with these, and I'll get to this in the final review when I talk to you guys right here and have some me time. Anyways, see you guys in about 2. You can see, guys, I mean, look at the comparison. The D5100, okay? Look at the small screen compared to the big screen. And I'm actually going to say, I think, okay, so the D5300 is slightly bigger than the D5100, but it's smaller than the D5200. But look how small the screen is on the 51 compared to on the 53. So you see, this is a big jump right here. So, I'm going to say this. I'll see you guys in about 2 seconds. I just want to show you the comparison between them. Now, this obviously doesn't count. That's the add-on. So, see you back in about 2. Have a good one. Bye. Guys, so, alright, well, now I'm going to tell you. So you guys got to get one of these grips. If you don't want to spend a fortune on batteries, so you can use generic brands, I do recommend it. It's also, it makes the camera look also more pro. Plus, I really like the grip on it. It's nice to have a grip. And, you know, I have big hands. You know, I don't want to use something small like this. Even though it is comfortable, I would like to get something bigger. And I think it's just really good to have that. So anyways, let's see. Okay, so like I said, I would not recommend this for people who want to shoot pro videos. I mean, you know, pro film for just to transfer to film, okay? All DSLRs have the worst compression rate ever. I tried to transfer one to film. Thank God my friend had, you know, what is it, a lab to do this stuff, because otherwise I would be paying a fortune only to be let down. I had to pay money, and it was a lot of money actually too, but it was a nice discount. But the thing was, it came out like crap because of the compression rate. It's just nasty. You want to film with a professional camcorder for that. I use film cameras almost all the time. You know, film. You know, I 35mm film when I film my stuff. But now I've been getting into the 4K revolution with the Reds. I've used the Alexas. I've used as well the 2.5K, I believe, of Blackmagic, and now I'm buying the 4K camera, which is coming to me soon. I will not use ever DSLR for professional work. Now, what I would use the DSLR for is for weddings. I think weddings, it's really, it's one of the best cameras, not as an A camera, but definitely as a B camera, to do some slow motion work and all of that great stuff that you want. Now, weddings, nobody cares as long as, for some reason, they always say, you know, the size matters. And it's true. A lot of them, they look at the size of they don't even care how good the footage looks. They look at the size of the camera and they're like, all right, this looks pro, this doesn't. Not this, you know, they don't really judge it. And, you know, what's funny is the Blackmagic is a small camera. And I had a lot of people in the weddings telling me about that, and I had to explain to them what 2K was and what RAW was and all that good stuff. Now, the thing is, what would I choose, this or the Canon? All right, so I'm going to tell you, in terms of pictures, obviously Nikon wins this. I mean, if you have Canon lenses, I have a ton of Canon lenses and Nikon lenses. But if you have Canon lenses, I would recommend going with Canon. If you have Nikon lenses, I recommend going with Nikon. But if you have no lenses, I would recommend going with Nikon if you are into photography. Okay, anything Nikon would be better. The Nikkor lens kicks butt. Okay, now in terms of video, color, everything, gotta give it to the Nikon, but wait a second, there's a lot more to talk about this. Gotta give it to the Nikon because it did limit the moire on it, does limit a little bit of the aliasing. The rolling shutter, I proved that to myself that, you know, it's not as bad, but it is bad. I mean, it doesn't matter. The thing is with the Canon, I gotta say I'm not gonna say professional, but for video work, I mean, I've used, you know, things like this on weddings and stuff like that. I would recommend using the Canon. Only for one reason, because they have that Magic Lantern software. If this thing had the Magic Lantern software, without a shadow of a doubt, I would give it straight up to Nikon. Now, the Mark III obviously is a full sensor. I explained to you my reasons behind the full sensors, how I don't like it. But then again, that's my artistic, you know, approach to that. Your artistic approach, maybe you want to blur the hell out of the background and not want anybody to see the back. That's your decision. To me, I worked a lot also doing pilots, but also, you know, I've worked with other people doing filming for certain TV shows, certain that. Nobody wants that kind of shallow depth of field. But again, that's your artistic, you know, whatever you guys want to do, you do it. I would choose the Canon because it has that, like I told you, the Magic Lantern. Now, for green screen, both of them suck because, again, the compression rate. But if I had to choose one, definitely be, I mean, I would love to say Nikon, but it's not, because of the reason it can't, I mean, it does great green screen, but it's not going to do as good as the Canon, because the Canon has histograms and things like that that you would want to definitely check out. Another thing is the autofocus on this I really like. It films really nicely. With the Canon, you know, so I give it to this one, because the Canon, what happens is a person walks, moves a little bit, and it's out of focus. This thing is really awesome. And I'm talking about Mark III to something that's cheap. This isn't even a full sensor. So for this to beat it, it means a pretty big, you know, a lot. Now, if you guys are in a budget and you're filmmakers out there and photographers or just filmmakers, really on a budget, need a camera, I would recommend getting this. You know, definitely getting this camera, because it does both great. Again, if you're looking to do more green screening and stuff like that, Canon, just because it has that magic lantern, I can do it without. To my naked eye, I could see it. I have a big screen. I have histograms on my screen and stuff like that, so I see pretty much all that stuff. And I would recommend Nikon. But if you guys are just starting out and want something simple, I'd recommend just sticking with Canon. Plus, Canon, it's a pretty lateral move when you go to Blackmagic, because all the lenses are EF. They transfer right away, where the Nikon has to be adapted to, which I'm doing anyway, because I'm using Nikon lenses on my Blackmagic, because I love the Nikkor lenses, and I don't think anything could top it. So again, if you're in a budget, I got this with a bunch of crap like I showed you, including a case, for like $700. So I mean, you know, you guys could probably get it even cheaper. Who knows? Even if you get this by itself, remember, don't spend. Try to, in your budget, save money on the body as much as you can. Invest all the money in lenses, because lenses will go forever. And you see what happened. I have lenses from like the 40s, no joke. So, so I mean, yeah. So get that. Invest in this. This is like $1, but not $1. $5, $6 for this crappy thing. It's plastic, but you know it's good. And you know, I would do that. But definitely on a budget, I would recommend doing that. Anybody that's into student film, I highly recommend you stay away from this. Whoever's a student in filming class, because you want to know how to light properly, how to do properly. A lot of people think DSLRs you don't need light. That's a bunch of bullshit. It could handle low light, correct, but again, because of the horrible compression rate, I don't recommend even using it. And your pro stuff. And I think that overall, you'd be better off learning how to light things properly. You know, 3-point lighting, all types of lighting techniques. It's really useful, and all of that. Another thing is the microphone on this. I give it way better than the Canon Mark III, Mark III to T2i, T3i, T4i, whatever. My friends were using this camera and they actually compared it to theirs, and their microphone is really awesome. Again, you would not shoot anyway. You'd use with an onboard. You'd use a Zoom H4n or Zoom. I think the new one came out. Whatever. You definitely want a preamp on this too, like the Juice Link I use. You could use any other one that's cheaper. You know, I'm kind of away from the Juice Link thing right now, but you know, so you could use any preamp with it. Definitely needs a preamp. Definitely needs a nice external recorder. So again, though, but you're gonna need the stereo here, the microphone on board, to be like your you know, your backup, so sort of you can match it and dualize or whatever. So I would recommend definitely going with the best thing. So overall, I would say go with the Nikon if you guys are just starting out and have no lenses. Otherwise, go with the Canon. Or if you guys want to be really picky with your color, doing chroma key, doing all of that, really picky, it's better to get the Canon, where you're going to do the histogram, and you'll be able to see things more, you know, much better in terms of graphs and stuff. Now, if you have what I would recommend doing is get a Nikon and get an external monitor. Because the external monitor, they'll have histograms and all that good stuff on it, and then you have the best of both worlds, you know, and that's it. You're good to go, because the Nikon truly gives a superior image, and you don't have to deal with the crazy moire that the Canons give, that I cannot stand in the aliasing. Not that it's not on here, it is, but it's not even close to what it is on the Canon. The Canon is just all over the place, and that's one of the things I don't like. A lot of people say, oh, but the Canon shoots raw. No, it doesn't. It doesn't shoot raw. The raw that it shoots not for a long time. It's not a raw camera. It's a hack, yeah, and it works. It's great. It works. Dynamic range-wise, I gotta tell you, I like this Nikon right here better than the Canon at native. Now, I didn't really test the raw files on the Canon yet. I mean, I just know it from what my friends are telling me, and they are not happy with it whatsoever. But they told me even themselves, from what they tested on the Nikon, and I could tell you this myself from both, since I own them both, I'm going to tell you the dynamic range looks like it's just a bit higher. I could see things out the window when on a bright day. When I did it with the Canon, I could not. But again, very little. So, for instance, it's really bright, and this will be a little bit. But I could see that little bit of, you know, brightness out gives me an opportunity to see through the window. So that is great dynamic range right there by the Nikon for a cheap camera that's like what, $700 compared to what, $3,000 now on the Mark III. So anyways, comment, subscribe. Like I said, I love both cameras. I think these are great tools for you to use. I'm going to be using this as a B camera to my Blackmagic. I also have a GoPro Black that I use on 4K in my helicopters that I get my my sky shots and all of that great stuff. So this camera is really light also, which I really like about that. So I'm going to try to hook it up to my helicopter as well and see if I could get anything remotely close to what I want to get. But again, I would definitely not go with a big lens like this. I would go with a pancake lens probably. Also, I use primes. Guys, please stay away from the lenses they give you for free. I mean, it's a great beginner tool, but really, I mean, it's stuck on. I mean, what is that? Like, it's a 18 to 55. And it's a 3.5 to 5.6. It's not even a constant aperture. Also, another thing is you cannot change your aperture when you're in recording. You'd have to shut it off, put it on again. But you could change your ISO, which is hopefully they'll change that in their firmware. But again, guys, it's really accurate, really cheap. I'd recommend this to anybody starting out in film. You know, starting out and shooting videos and stuff and want to get nice framing and all that and get some good, you know, good stuff going on. I have seen, like I told you, movies that did come out on shorts and all that good stuff using just DSLRs. So go ahead and do that. I mean, you know, see where it leads you. Hopefully then you can upgrade from this into a real camera. But, you know, in the meantime, you guys are on a budget, $700, guys. I mean, or you could go even for the 52, but the 52 does 72 at 720 60 frames. This thing does full HD at 60 frames a second, which is sick. Okay, 60 progressive frames. It's insane to do that. So, I mean, it's really awesome. And for the PAL, obviously 50. So it's insane. You get the best slow motion at full HD resolution for a price that is so cheap. So go ahead, guys. Let me know what you think. Comment, subscribe, like, dislike. Let me know. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.